And 3, 2, 1. Here we are. Lush Tongue, Sound Meditation and More, episode number 60. Wow, 60 episodes. This is Anna Mae, and I am here to meditate with you. Let's go with Om. And the way I like to chant Om is whatever pitch appeals to me. And you can sing the same pitch, or you can sing a different pitch in harmony, or you can improvise. Here we go. All right, deep breath. So, in today's short and sweet episode, the two main topics of discussion are what is next for Lush Tongue, sound meditation, and more. What are the lessons learned over the course of 60 episodes and the journey I've been on here? And then the second topic will be focused on my involvement in a new to me, app called Clubhouse, which I'm sure some of you have been hearing about. A lot of kerfuffle around Clubhouse. So just a little bit of context about this journey. So first, this, I guess I can call it a podcast, a sound meditation podcast. I started it almost immediately after the pandemic began, as my way of making sense of what we were going through and finding that centeredness, that calm in the midst of the storm and the chaos that was brewing all around me. I was living in New York City at the time, in Brooklyn, where I had spent virtually all of my adult life, either New York City or just outside of New York City in upstate New York. And I did it every day for like 2 weeks, and then that was kind of like a breakneck speed. So then I paced it out to a weekly experience, a weekly podcast experience, and I've been going ever since. So that was March of 2020, and we're now in February of 2021. And one of the biggest challenges of this medium for me, as someone who in the pre-COVID days would get together with other people very often and facilitate the experience of people singing together, the ecstatic experience of people singing together. Oftentimes people who were not so comfortable singing. I have a gift for creating that space of vulnerability and courage and openness and willingness to try something new. So I, get the virtuosity, the conservatory singers together with the lay singers, and we'd all make a joyful noise together. And in addition to that, of course, there's the individual vocal coaching and all of the other work that I do in the vocal realm. Um, and unsurprisingly, it's very interactive in real time. The thing about this podcasting is that it is by and large not interactive in real time. Like I'll get, some comments or some feedback after the fact. Um and typically in writing, but it's really interacting with other people's voices that, that's my sweet spot. That's my happy place. So you can imagine the joy I felt upon discovering this app called Clubhouse, which is an audio based app that allows people to interact with each other in real time. So you might be thinking, well, can't you just make a phone call? You could, but the thing that Clubhouse makes possible is for you to basically engage in a party line of anywhere from 2 people to 5,000 people all over the world in real time. uh, Obviously, not all 5,000 people speaking at once. They're moderators, and they can bring people in from the audience on stage, and this is all happening virtually, and it's a really amazing concept. And I'm so juiced up uh, after only 11 days of being on the app. I'm like, I'm ready to host my own room and share, this sound meditation and personal development work that I've been sharing in this context. So today I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to host a room on Clubhouse. And by the time you hear this message, if you hear it close to real time and you happen to have an iOS, it's only available on iPhone and iPad at the moment, but they're working on adding Android later on in the year. But if you happen to be around 8 p.m. until I'd say an hour or two. But the thing with Clubhouse is, when you get really inspired, there's no telling how long it could go. But I anticipate it being a 1 to 2 hour room. So approximately 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, February 2nd. That'll be my very first room. And it's actually going to be a room based on debriefing and deconstructing and processing around the 21-day abundance challenge that some of you listeners engaged in with me, or some of you may have actually done the 21-day abundance challenge before. It's a popular challenge created by Deepak Chopra, the famous spiritual teacher Deepak Chopra. And it is such a juicy, in-depth challenge. Every day you get a different task. And, I was running my group and we just completed the 21st day. And the container for this work is very strict. It's that you just show up for yourself, inside of doing the task. And then you acknowledge that you did the task. There's no analysis or, talking about the aha moments that came up for you as you're doing it. You just show up, you do it, and you acknowledge it that it was done. And I love the cleanness of that. But now that it's over, now I want to get into like what was going on for people behind the scenes, of people individually. And it could be people who did the challenge with me, and it can also be people who've done the challenge on their own or in the context of other groups. So you're welcome to join me at Soul Insights, SOULINCITES. And I'm so excited to be doing that. And I plan to be sharing more rooms. One room in particular I'm really excited about hosting is a song share. So different types of, there'll be different categories, different themes, folk songs, chants, mantras from, different parts of the world. I look forward to bringing some of the book club energy that I had with the Soul Insights Facebook group. That's now shifting into this more interactive space, which is what I've wanted all along. And to continue to grow in that way, where I actually get to have real-time discussion and singing. Although there's still the thing that you'd be doing, you'd be singing along muted, but it's still an interactive experience, and that we get to talk with each other and talk about why these songs are meaningful to us. And um, yeah, we get to like have this space where conversation and singing can happen together on a regular basis. So really excited about that. Really excited about all these different possibilities of um, what I'll be hosting on Clubhouse. And for those of you who are active on Clubhouse, I'd love to also hear from you. Like, in what ways are you active? Do you host rooms? Have you started clubs? Um, how are you networking? Who are you networking with? All of that. It's a really juicy space with immense potential. So, in addition to the workshops, of course, that you can purchase that I do on Zoom, I'll also be hosting these spaces in Clubhouse. Um, and I look forward to exchanging information and energy with you in real time. So, with that, I think we're keeping it, yeah, short and simple today. Is anything else? Oh, well, of course, if you want to make a contribution, you can always do that via Cash App, via Venmo, via Pen Pal. Did I say Pen Pal? PayPal. If you'd like to be my pen pal, you can be a real time pen pal on Clubhouse. We can actually have conversations there. But yeah, if you'd like to make a contribution, you can do so. They're all at Lush Tongue, hashtag Lush Tongue, all the things Lush Tongue. And I send a newsletter out on Tuesdays, so you can click on the link in the description for joining that newsletter. And of course, if you have inquiries for me to lead trainings, to lead vocal circles, to lead one on one vocal coaching. Oh, wonderful testimonial from my latest client, who is an older gentleman who's dealing with Parkinson's. And for anyone who is familiar with Parkinson's disease, it often um, has an effect on the voice where it kind of robs you of your lung capacity and robs you of the power and projection in your voice. Well, I've got to say, this gentleman, this gentleman, from the first session to the second session, the difference in his vocal presence, like it was, he said, he was having a conversation with his wife, and his wife was like, "You got your voice back." How did that happen? So that him sharing that with me is like the best testimonial ever. So and he's actually my first client I've ever worked with who is dealing with Parkinson's. Um, and I felt kind of like, oh no, you want a licensed clinical music therapist to work with you with that, because that's not my lane as far as being a clinical music therapist. Um, I'm very therapeutic in my approach, but I'm not a licensed clinical musical therapist. But I patting myself on the back. I do have a gift for opening people up in this kind of way, and creating space for them to open up in ways that surprise and delight us both. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And you can always reach out to me if you're interested in having a vocal coaching session. We can start off with a discovery call if you have specific questions you want to ask about the nature of what you're focusing on. If you're vocal coaching for the purpose of an audition, that's a different approach than um, approaching. That's a different approach than doing a session for the purpose of feeling more confident in your voice, or speaking up to people with whom before you had a disempowered dynamic with, and you're reclaiming your voice, claiming the power of your voice. um yeah, so I'm really excited about the inquiries that have been coming and continue to come. So on that note, okay, now I think I covered everything. Let's close out with our owns. Here we go. Oh. Stay tuned for further announcements about Lush Tongue, sound meditation, and more, which I'll send through my newsletter. And if it calls for me to put up a video throughout the week on a day other than Tuesday, that's possible too. All right. Have a wonderful week and use your voices powerfully. And on that note, we'll close out. All right. Bye.